Yeah, Field of View is one of those shows that I felt I had to do for myself. You know, you feel like we teach a lot of production skills and techniques. And a lot of it is, you know, where to set this light precisely and how to dial in this particular setting on a camera, or you know, what buttons to click in your NLE's interface to get a certain look or create an effect. And I really felt personally that what was missing from a lot of this is, you know, that stuff is all very calculated and scientific, and you know, it's like a formula for making video. And with Field of View, what I really wanted to do is express that there's more to making video than knowing what button to push. You know, it's not about that, and you can teach anybody to push the right button, but there's something that's tangibly different about making the video that you see from someone who thinks like a cinematographer, who edits like a filmmaker. Why is that? Is it the camera? No. What is it then? And it's really the way he thinks. So how do you teach people to think a certain way? I don't know that you do. But what I felt I needed to do was point out some of these things. You know, point out that there is a difference in the way you think, and then challenge people to think differently as they go about their work. And I hope that Field of View has accomplished that, you know, to kind of spur thinking. Right, okay. What kind of B-roll is this? So this is our guy, right? Yep, this is our editor. Perry and I worked pretty closely on Field of View throughout the whole season. And so we've worked together a long time. We know each other well. And Perry right away kind of caught what I was trying to do with this show. He knows how I think, and so as I shared these ideas with him, he would say, you know what, I see something that works for that. Right. And I think Perry's vision for not only what I was trying to say, but for the way that it should be done was a huge part of the look of Field of View. It can be hard to get good looking shots in bad looking spots. Yeah,
it was decided early on to try to give Field of View a cinematic look. So of course, we incorporated the dolly whenever we could, and I just approached the lighting like you would if you were going to try to shoot a movie. You know, just when he's in an environment and say there's light coming in through a window, I just want to simulate that light on our subject.
And hold it out a little farther from the light. I'm disappointed because
it's paying attention to those details and trying to achieve a look and feel with your lighting, I think, is what is, well, it's the goal for me anytime that I shoot. But it also worked for Field of View because we were, you know, giving each one of these episodes a character in a sense by the way that we lit it. And you do that, I think, with a cinematic approach.
Right from the start, we knew there were going to be a couple aspects that made Field of View what it was. Part of that certainly was what I was saying, but the other part of that was to actually show, you know, what we were doing. And sometimes that was you know, showing a camera person behind the scenes kind of dramatizing what we're talking about. Other times it was to illustrate in a creative way, you know, the concept. I drew the comparison of, you know, making videos a bit like building a house. You know, just because I have the tools doesn't mean I have the skills. And so we thought, well, what better way to illustrate that than show, you know, a hammer pounding a nail and show a saw running, not to literally illustrate these things, but to kind of figuratively paint that picture. And by shooting that and playing it back in slow motion and with dramatic lighting, it added an emotion. You know, lighting is such a powerful tool, and slow motion to kind of just make you feel things. A lot of what we wanted to do with Field of View, what I wanted to do was have it be a show that made you think, but that also made you feel what the message was. And a huge part of that was giving you something to see that was not directly related to what I was talking about, but that drove that point home, and by seeing it in a way that really made you feel the message.
The B-roll is where I just kind of had the creative freedom to go do what I wanted. I just told Chuck, I said, give me your analogies, give me your concepts, and let me go run with something. And one of my favorite shots was when we took our animator, Brent Milby, and we made him look like a coach. And we set up a film projector, and we had something projecting up on a wall, and he's watching, and we're making the slow dolly behind him and we shot it 60 frames per second, and you just slowly see the projector reels spinning and light coming off of there. Oh man, that was probably one of the funnest one. And the setup really was very minimal. I think it took me maybe half an hour to 40 minutes to set the whole thing up. What I really tried to do was limit myself to what I would show. So I would pick little areas within the studio and just light for that area. So I did a lot of close-ups, did a lot of real moody type light using hard lights so that things just fall off the shadow really quick. And it was, for me, it was a lot of creative freedom, and it was a lot of, I don't know, just a lot of fun telling those stories through this imagery.
So we wanted to come up with a look that was more than just straight out video, and almost a little bit of a film look to it in terms of the colors and the texture. But we also wanted to kind of take it out of the realm of just the rectangular box frame of video. So kind of the color and the grain, that kind of came from the influence of film. And where we came up with the vignette was, we were looking at it when we were putting together the first episode, and Chuck said, we need something with the edge of this frame. We need to make it a little bit different. And the first thing that hit me was cutting on a moviola. Some of the first stuff I ever cut together was film, 16 millimeter on an old moviola. This old beat up one I was working on kind of had this soft focus on the edges. I remember what that looked like and how fun that was to cut on, and just how it had this look that was really raw. And so we just made this little soft edge vignette. Chuck said, I love it, let's go with that.
For this particular series, for the kind of a message, the theoretical, the conceptual, emotional subject matter that we were talking about, it needed an edit pace that matched that. And that right there is part of the message of Field of View. It's, think about the content and then package and present that message in a way that suits that message the best. And so with Field of View, a lot of that was the way it was lit. It was the way that it was shot. It was the way that I wrote and delivered it. And a lot of it was the way that we edited that show. We needed to slow it down. Sometimes the production would be better if we left some stuff out.
We wanted to make the pace of it almost unsettling. A little bit where it was contemplative in style, where you'd be watching it and thinking, but where there were these longer pauses where it kind of became unsettling, made viewer just a little bit offset of what they were used to of what DJ TV was.
And there were times, especially the first couple episodes, where people didn't get that. People would say, just give me the main message, just get to the point. And the point at that time was, no. The point was, we're not going to get right to the point. And so that was very purposeful and deliberate, to choose to, in some cases, draw things out a little longer than was comfortable. In some cases, to slow things down or to repeat a point. We purposely chose our edit pace and our shot selection and the style of that show to suit the message. Field of View didn't have a set. A lot of the shows that we make have a setting that they're in every week. And with Field of View, because it was, these thoughts are kind of all over the place, we felt it was important that I be in different locations to tell the story of the week. Sometimes it was in a kitchen, to be bringing in groceries and talking about how cooking steak is similar to making video. Other times it was out and about around town, in the downtown square or in a football stadium. Each of those locations was chosen based on the analogy of the week. Part of the production process was teaching these concepts, not by directly saying, do this, but by saying, you're familiar with this idea of how a cookie cutter works. Are you aware that sometimes you make videos this way, and that may not be the best way? So the analogy a lot of times would lead us to, okay, well, where's the right place to shoot this? And we had, finding locations wasn't easy. It's a weekly show, so we've only got a short period of time to write and shoot and edit these things to keep getting them out. So to keep the level of production quality that we wanted we shot in the football stadium of the national championship team, the Florida Gators, just taking that risk to say, hey, let's ask if we can shoot there, I think really paid off, and it helped, again, add production quality that we needed. Football fans are a fun kind of people, aren't they? My concern from the beginning with Field of View, one that we all had identified as we sat and brainstormed about this show, was are people going to get it? Because I truly believe that most of us don't want to be challenged. We don't want to think about things. We want easy answers. And right from the first episode, I wanted to point out that, hey, first of all, it's not about what equipment you have, because we all think we can buy a solution to make us a better producer. And then it's not about fast fixes and easy answers and 1, 2, 3 step-by-step solutions, because that's what we want. We want a fast, easy, just tell me what to do. Don't give me all this stuff, just tell me what to do. And that's what we want, but that's not what we need. At least I don't believe that's what we need. And I think we can get those kinds of things all over the place. We can find step-by-step tutorials and we can read textbooks. But what we can't get, or what I thought there was a lacking in, is where do I go to get inspired? Who out there is producing a series that really makes me proud to make video and gets me excited to go out and try some new things? And even though we didn't want to tell people how we did it. We didn't want to talk about, what we were doing. We wanted to share these bigger thoughts that would hopefully inspire people to get excited about what they do and feel passionate about it. One of the things that I appreciate so much about Digital Juice and Dave Hebel and Viv Beeson is their willingness to give me the freedom to kind of explore this thoughtful side of production. There was no pressure whatsoever to make this about Digital Juice or about a product. And I believe that's one of the things about this company that sets us apart from other companies. People don't know how to think of Digital Juice, and it's because we don't do things like other people do.
Okay, here we go. Rolling, and action.
Field of View for me was a 13-week marathon. I feel like I day and night, I was thinking about that show. It was exhausting, this series. Really, it's the most exhausting series that I've ever done. And I just feel like there wasn't a minute that I wasn't thinking about that show. Now that we've reached the end, I feel like I can breathe again. So I want to thank my wife for putting up with me all those nights when I come home, from work at 7 o'clock at night, and I'd say, I'm thinking about cookies and pancakes and how that's like video and how it was, oh boy, just mentally exhausting to write and produce this show and come up with these ideas.
I'm really amazed at what we've accomplished over the last couple months. We've gone to a college stadium to shoot. We've gone to San Francisco to shoot. We've always managed to find someplace cool to put Chuck in an episode, and none of it was easy. I'm amazed. I look back and it's quite the body of work. Not only for Chuck, but also for me too. I put my heart into everything we did for Field of View, and I think it shows because Chuck's heart was into it, so was mine, and so was Chris's. So I think I'm most proud of the accomplishment of what Field of View is.
It's a fun show to work on, and the look of it. What I just hope is that when all is said and done, that the series achieves its goal and inspires people to produce and to think differently than they have in the past. Maybe challenge some of the ways they've done things and to take a step in a new direction just to grow as producers. Because I know in making the show, it challenged us. And I know that I've learned a lot just from the process of making the show, and I hope that others can share in that and take a step further.
What I really want the viewers to get out of Field of View is that making video is more of an art than a science. It's something that has to come, and when you talk to artists, there's something different about an artist than a scientist. One is very clean and precise, and another is very much driven by emotion and passion. And I think there's a difference when you watch a production that's clinical in approach and one that's artistic in approach. And I just want to help steer a lot of the clinically minded producers towards artistry, because I believe that it makes a huge difference in what you see on the screen.